understanding. What is understanding? Knowing the essence of something, being able to trace the idea back to the evidence of the senses, and connecting the idea logically to other things, things that matter, things that are causally relevant. Is my camera focused? Camera settings. Welcome to the life, as some of you already know. Video stuff. Camera software. Oh, no, fail. Okay. Get it out of auto, put it in manual. Forgot to do that earlier. Okay, there. I could tell because things kind of flickered in a weird way. It wasn't electrical. But understanding, knowing the essence of something, being able to trace the idea back to the evidence of the senses, and having it causally related to other things. So for example, take an easy example that we can all understand, we can use as a good example to think about other things. Running. Most people fail to understand running. I used to also, until I became a fitness trainer and had to dig into this. You know, most coaches, trainers, total fail, but it's systemic, not their fault. I didn't know either. It's not obvious. Some people are at fault. Some fitness trainers, or some people in history, when we do a root cause analysis, it would go back to a person, some people, or a group, but not necessarily every single individual person who coaches, obviously. Do we know how to run right perfectly in every way? No. We might think we do, but we don't. I didn't. Like I say, most people fail. What do most people do, coaches, when they want to run better? Run. Let's just do this running stuff, like kind of sort of looks like running. No. To do it well, we need to understand running. And as I say, this can be used as an example of understanding other things. Understanding projectile motion, understanding quantum mechanics, understanding literary devices in literature, understanding subject and plot and theme or something, understanding quadratic equations or differential equations or chemical equilibria or whatever. But we can take this example and kind of use it to think about other things. But running, it's not merely the legs. To do that is a total fail. And since some people are thinking this is the first time they've heard that, some people like to isolate. You say that, you're weird. There's this social stuff people do that's unfortunate. There's all these unknown unknowns, and when people come up against that, they can call the person who knows stuff crazy or ignorant or wrong. That's another failure, systemic failure of like culture, educational system. That needs to be improved. We got to work on, strengths and weaknesses in every culture and group and individual. But we should be more aware that there are things we don't know, things we don't even know we don't know, and take those seriously. And then see if someone has those, are they an independent thinker? What's their background? How successful are they with what they do? Versus some people who claim stuff that we don't know, and we can clearly reason out when we dig into it that it's wrong. But with this stuff, you can check out FMS. They will say the same thing. Functional Movement Systems. Greg Cook, Lee Burton started it, and many others in the NHL and NFL and others. Kelly Starrett. Excuse me, Kelly, if I misspelled your name, letter or two off. The Supple Leopard. Good book. I need to read more of it. So much to do, so little time. But he worked with CrossFit to get a lot of mobility stuff and running stuff in there. The great Katie Bowman, biomechanist. And the MoveNet people, I'm certified in this stuff, and others. There's some examples. Train special forces, Olympic athletes and stuff. But they'll agree. There are the names. You can look it up yourself. Do your research. Running is not merely the legs. Oh, and look up Olympic athletes. Watch what I say will be done by them. Look up Olympic athletes, Olympic runners, I should say. 100-yard dash, 100-meter dash, I should say, and marathoners and so on. Is that legible? Kelly Starrett, Katie Bowman, MoveNet, Olympic runners. That's a little ugly. Olympic. I'm tired. Need to take my contacts out. They're starting to bother my eyes. Put my glasses on. But, sorry, I'm going to be a little sloppy. I'll put stuff in the show description, though. But, when we're running, we need to use our core. To understand running is to understand the function of the core. If someone is not training their core, they're failing to be a good runner. They do not understand running. They need to improve. Well, we need systemic improvement in our physical culture, in role models, things like that, so that coaches know better what they're doing. It's, they're being let down and not being informed as well as they should, and therefore students and the youth are not being informed. Some people just look around them. Well, look, everybody does this. No, the experts do not. This is where people should be looking to see about how to run and walk well and stuff, not doing whatever. Doing whatever is not acceptable. We need to be doing it biomechanically proper. Make it efficient, cut down injuries, make it more fun, make ourselves faster and better, get optimal athletic performance. This is what will do it. When you're running, it's with your core. Kicking, jumping, running, stuff like that comes from the core, not from the legs. Even try it. Look at Olympic marathoners, I should say first, Olympic sprinters. They look like a 2x4 with 4 limbs. You can't just have everything be all like loosey-goosey and keep your legs running and go fast. That's a fail. You've got to have a good core. It comes from pushing off at the earth, and that means having a core. There's understanding some running. Or what about when you're running, there's these little things down here called feet that few coaches ever talk about. Some do, of course. Obviously, I wouldn't know otherwise. Thanks, guys. But I learned a lot from them and making it real in my own experience, not platonically, but I got it from observation, build up. But these things down here need to be developed and strengthened. This is what we run on. Okay? I don't wear shoes. Yuck. I mean, sometimes like in a public restroom, because otherwise it'd be disgusting. But running, no. Not needed. Even some look at some people get so, again, carried away with everyone wears shoes. They don't think. We need to think what we actually need. What about our ancestors? Look and you see some Olympic athletes, some gold medalists have trained and have won barefoot. Or even if they're doing some stuff, it's minimalist shoes. But these things need to be developed. If that's not done in training, there's a lack of understanding. This person's not doing the job they should. I mean, it's systemic. It's not their fault. I didn't know this stuff either. It's not ping obvious when you're born. The doctor slaps you on the butt and then, oh yeah, train my feet. But the feet should be strengthened. Foot exercises, ankle mobility, jump rope, stuff like that. Or hip mobility to get the most power we can and to get the core working with the legs and to be able to stride. We need good hip mobility. And then how we use our feet matters. It's not just moving your legs. That's a total fail to understand what running is. And when we're running, let's see, should be make the legs look the same size. Nope, too big. Okay. Now I got a bunch of ink on my finger. It's a bad habit I need to break. I need to use my eraser more. I think it's so sloppy. But that's how it should be. There's too much of this. That shows a lack of understanding of biomechanics and basic stuff. Physics, it's basic physics. You land up too much out in front of yourself, well, there's a jolt up your leg. It's straight. I mean, what the hell is that? Take off your shoes and see how that really feels and see what you're really doing to yourself. You know, unfortunately, because of some sitting and stuff, bad and like ecological influences on us, like the shoes, these forces on us, these social influences. People wear some shoes and it's cushy, and then they're having this big ugly jolt up their knee, in their hip, in their back, that they're like hiding a little bit. Again, try to do that like barefoot. Go try to run like that, and you're gonna feel how awful it is. Besides a jolt going up when it's up, you got to force backwards and a force up. Does it make you go faster by slowing yourself down? If a force upward, it's like if someone was pushing on you a little bit. Does that slow you? Does it help you go faster? No, that slows you down. That is not understanding how running works. I see that way too much. Or start to look for that when you're in the store, you're on the street. Unfortunately, sadly, I wish it was not that way around here in our world, in our society and stuff. You're going to see a lot of people like that. Or when they're running, start to look for that shape. It should be more like this. Sometimes I see some people like this, which is awesome. And that's what you're going to see when you look at Olympic marathoners or sprinters. No one ever does this. It's not like they want to do it because it makes them go faster, but it's against the rules. Wrong. If people could do that and get a good, win gold medals, they would do it. No one does that in the Olympics, at least that I've seen. I'll say no one does it, but I gotta be go within the scope of what I know. I haven't seen everybody, but they're gonna be like this, especially when you slow it down. You got that little gear thing on the videos, something like that. On the YouTube videos, if you click on that, you can slow it down. It's like the bottom of the screen. You got the video, and you got some things down here. This is one of the ones down here. You can change the speed, make it a quarter speed or something. And then the people talking will sound like this, but even slower. You can slow it down to quarter speed to see that that's what they're doing. Then you got these levers and joints to help you lower yourself down instead of slamming against the ground. You're running forward and you push off and just slam against the ground. What the hell is that? We should not do that. You're being misled and misinformed by systemic failures in our culture, unfortunately. This is what we should be doing more. Using our foot and our ankle and our knee to help shock absorb, and we should be pushing forward. When you land over your step, then you can just push forward. You're not slowing yourself down. So that's something about understanding. Work on using your foot right. Who does that? I mean, some do, clearly, thank goodness. And others not listed here. But again, look at most people. Without good physical education, without good fitness role models, people should look at the Olympic athletes instead of looking what's around. But again, that takes education, knowing what to think about and better thinking techniques as well. That's what we're doing here with the understanding. That's why some of this comes about, because of people not learning as they should about how to understand something. Again, running, you just move your legs fast. No, that's awful that a lot of people think that. It's sad. It's unfortunate. We should be taught how to really understand something. This is like it. You don't just strengthen your legs or run a bunch. You need to land like this over your step, not have your step out front to slow you down and jolt your joints. You need to be using these to help soften the blow like shock absorbers and push yourself forward. What about breathing? Breathing, we're not vacuum cleaners. We don't just suck in air. There's an optimal way to breathe. It should be like in and out through the nose, or at least into the nose, out through the mouth, and abdominally. Breathe down. Expand 360 and breathe down. Getting good breaths. Who talks about breathing? That should be part of physical education. Good breathing is important for exercising well, for having good power, for energizing the muscles, and for sleeping well. If you can breathe right, if you breathe right through your nose, are you going to snore? No. You cannot snore through your nose. Keep your mouth shut, breathe through your nose, no snoring. People are happier, they sleep better, they wake up more refreshed, and it's, yeah, and then maybe some of that sleep apnea will go away, because I think that just happens when you breathe into your mouth, and then oxygen gets shut off, the tongue and all this stuff. But I'd have to ask experts to be sure, but I don't think that's going to happen if you're breathing into your nose. So we should do that. It'll help with health, cut down on illnesses a little bit. It's one fundamental important thing about human life. It's the first thing we do when we come into this world. Start breathing. And it's a function. Again, we're not vacuum cleaners, so breathing as a function can be done less well or more well. It can be done poorly or more optimally. So it's something we need to learn. It's funny, some people are so uninformed about breathing. We don't know what we don't know. There's all these unknown unknowns. So some people are like the proverbial, the martial art proverb where someone comes in from martial arts and the master pours tea in the cup and keeps pouring and says, "You're like the cup. Your cup is full. You cannot, it's full with like false ego and false ideas. You're not ready to learn anything." That's the way some people are. We need to know that breathing's a function. It can be done better. People make a living on breathing. What do like special forces and Navy SEALs have to do? They don't learn to go underwater for a long time, but just doing what we do. They need to learn to breathe well. Breathing is an ancient tradition. So if we look at good things that have been lost, some meditation, breathing's important in martial arts. Breathing exercises and breathing correctly is important. It's been known, but as I say, that important thing has been lost. Just because we're modern doesn't mean everything's right. Some stuff is a total fail. We've lost some important traditions from before. We need to think better about what people did before that was good and what was not. Because just because we're new doesn't mean we're correct or good. But to understand running, you've got to know how to breathe right to make yourself go optimally and to enjoy it more and to do well. How to use your feet, how to use your leg, how to breathe. Or what about your arms? And as I said, your core. Core is important. People should work on strengthening their core to run well and having good posture. Good posture and breathing come together. That's part of understanding. If you get a paper bag, you crumple it up. Can you get a lot of air in it? Get a bag and a vacuum cleaner, crumple it up. Can you get a lot of stuff in it? No. Crumple up. Can you get a lot of air in? No. You need good posture. But good posture helps you have good power. That's why I like the people in the Olympics, the sprinters. They got good posture. Like a 2x4. Good posture helps you get more power. Or in like powerlifting and stuff. They don't scrunch over. They got good posture. That's important for getting power, for running, sprinting, doing your best. So this stuff all goes together. Posture, breathing, power, they interact. There's some understanding of how to run well. Those are things we should do. And then again, using your arms. You store energy in them. So we need to use them well to help us, try not doing it. Try running with your hands behind your back or doing same leg, same arm or something like that. We need to use contralateral, opposite motion to help us store energy and get things working most efficiently. So having a relaxed upper body and having tension and relaxation at the proper time to help you run better is important. That's part of understanding running. Looking at legs, fail, that is not understanding running. These things we talked about, and you'll learn more from them, for example, help us understand what running is and do it well and do it right and have it more fun and enjoyable. And then if we think about that, this example of understanding something, we can take that and think about it and apply it to other areas. So how would this thing in calculus be like running? What can I connect it to? What does it take to make it function? Or something in literature. We got this thing. What is it related to? How does it function well? This rhetorical device, things like that. Find causal connections to help us understand something. That's like the basic idea. Just like running, we can experiment and see that things matter. We need our arms. You can try making them go too fast or holding them behind your back, things like that when you're running, or try to have same side together. Then you're going to experiment with a contrast. You see better how this cause-effect relationship goes together, how we need to move to run more optimally and efficiently. Or with breathing, try holding your breath, try breathing poorly compared to breathing properly. Think about the things you're not thinking about when you're trying to run better or do some fitness thing, like, oh yeah, I never thought of breathing. Oh yeah, I never thought about using my feet. It's obvious. Whenever we run, we're using our feet. What can I do to use my feet better? What can I do to use my arms better? Think about the running process and what you're doing. Arms, core. Sometimes, if you do some workout, you might feel when you're running, sprinting, your core tighten up. That helps you feel how it's involved in sprinting and running and stuff. You need a good core, good posture. Try different things. Try running with your head down, your head bobbing around, your core bobbing around, or hunched over. Experiment, get the contrast. You'll see that these things matter. And these things are going to help you, that I pointed out, using your leg right, not being straight, being like that, using your feet right, strengthening your feet, training your feet, jump rope and stuff like that, going barefoot some to help your feet get flexibility, bring that back instead of wearing shoes. It's been like in a cast, as Katie Bowman likes to say. You're like casting your feet, putting them in a cast. And so they've gotten weak in some ways. Need the muscles and ligaments and tendons and the nerves to rewire and get used to functioning more again, be more optimal. And if you want, you can wear shoes sometimes, then your feet will be better, things like that. Your core, do some exercises for those. Your arms, work on breathing and more. Then, as I say, we'll understand running. Then we can get stuff like that and apply it to other areas. So, let's think about knowing the essence of something, being able to relate it back to the evidence of the senses, and connecting it to other things we know. Like I connected this to physics. The breathing, we could bring in physics, chemistry, history, other areas. Think about the big context of life, because for understanding, we want to go bigger. Running is, you can think of it as an exercise or a fitness activity or a sport. So maybe running, sport, fitness, but then you got the broader idea of movement in human life. If we think of the bigger picture and connect in human life, connected to the ecology and to the world, running is about making our way through the world, moving. So how do we do that better? And that'll help us understand what running is. Now we can train better. We can use that as a good example a nice concrete example for other things. So let's get out there, understand the world better so we can teach better, educate the youth better. Education is about preparing the youth for adult life. It's the basic thing. One thing we all need is to understand things better, like running, so we won't get hurt as much. We can enjoy it. We can do better. We can be more fit. Some people don't exercise enough because they hurt themselves running, or they don't like it. If they ran better, it'd be more fun. And they could move through the environment, walk, hike, get out in nature, run, go on runs with their friends. But we need to do this for the youth to help them get a better adult life. Understanding things is very important. A proper idea of understanding, knowing the essence of something, being able to trace it back to the evidence of the senses, connecting it to other things, like out to human movement and human life in the world. We can think about that with other things that'll help us teach better, help us live on our own better. We can help ourselves, help the ones we love, friends and family, help society, help education. And as teachers, that's what we should be there for, to help the youth. So let's please dig into understanding, make it our own so we can better help other people with that. Peace. Be a good human animal.